ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so we have to start with this nama Ameyatma. If you remember this verse, I think it is verse number 11. Ajas sarveshwaras siddhaha siddhis sarvadirachyutaha vrishakapiramayatma sarvayoga vinisritaha. Till vrishakapihi we had seen last time. We'll continue Ameyatma. यानिति मातुं परिच्छेतुं न शक्यते आत्मा अस्येति अमेयात्मा. Meaning one whose form cannot be measured at all. So you cannot say that only this much is a form of the Lord. He is this building tall, or he is 5 stories tall, he is 10 stories tall. We cannot determine the height at all, the size at all. So one, you can say one who is beyond measurements, that is Ameyatma. Now for this there is a story from the Narasimha Avatar, that is Prahlada story. Now, as we know the story of Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu tried always to get rid of Prahlada. First of all, continuously he used to tell his son Prahlada that some or the other way, I want you to be my devotee, I want you to worship me, I want you to stop the worship of Vishnu and so on. But Prahlada never listened to that. I think in the last session we saw one Nama, the difference between Samanya Dharmam and Vishesha Dharmam. Vrishakapihi, in that Nama itself. Samanya Dharmam is one must obey one's father, mother, parents and so on. Vishesha Dharmam is in special cases like Prahlada. When the father itself is evil, at that time Prahlada cannot end up obeying his father. Otherwise he will also be on the evil path. So like this is you can consider like a continuation of Prahlada's story. So Hiranyakashipu tried so many ways. He tried to push Prahlada from a mountain, he tried to burn Prahlada, he tried to beat him, so he tried to put his end in many ways. But whatever happened, every time Prahlada was being saved. So now once it so happened that when Prahlada was, what Hiranyakashipu did is, he called a few of his ministers and told them that you push this Prahlada from a mountain top. Push this boy and let him die, because I have tried all my ways. I have told him that you start worshipping me, you start chanting my names, but anyhow this boy is not listening. So now what, the only option that is left is, we have to get rid of this boy, we have to kill this boy. You throw him from this mountain top. All the ministers, they assemble there and they push Prahlada from the mountain. Prahlada falls down. And it seems that, now this reference you get in the Vishnu Purana, these stories of Prahlada. In the Narasimha Avatara stories, these small mentions are there. It seems that when Prahlada was pushed down from the mountain, Prahlada held his heart. With his hand, he held his chest part, the left part, his heart, where our heart is there. Everyone was surprised. And by that time, he was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. But of course, Lord Vishnu came there to save him nicely. He fell down very comfortably, as if you are just jumping from a, you can say, from a small height. Like that, Prahlada was saved, his life was saved. So at that time, Vishnu, he was also surprised why this boy is holding his chest and falling. So Vishnu came and he asked Prahlada, I saw you that when the ministers, they pushed you from above, why were you holding your chest? Is there any specific reason for that? Did you have some pain or something? What happened? Prahlada says, no, I didn't have anything. But I have heard that and I believe that Lord Vishnu, that is you yourself, live in that chest. Even though I fall, I don't want the Lord inside me to fall. This was the amount of bhakti that Prahlada had. Lord Vishnu himself, it seems that he had tears listening to this. And he said that even when one's own life is in danger, even at that time, the person whom thinks of the Lord, such is a devotee. So, though Prahlada knew that Lord Vishnu is the Lord of the universe, he is God, no one is needed to save the Lord, but still he had this belief that the Lord is there inside me. If I fall down, the Lord inside me will also be hurt. Therefore, he held his chest tight, it seems. This was the devotion and bhakti that Prahlada had. So, Vishnu was very much pleased by his devotion and he asked him, you ask me what you want. Whatever you ask, I am ready to give you. Vishnu tells Prahlada. At that time also, the boy says that, I am very happy. You have blessed me, right? When I was inside my mother's womb, at that time Kayatu, Narada came, he used to tell my mother a lot of your glories and so on. I became a great devotee of you. My bhakti should always flourish and so on. I'm blessed with all that. But only one thing I need, and I feel little bad that I don't have that. So Vishnu asks, what is that? You tell what you don't have. He tells Prahlada, what you don't have, that you tell me, I will surely give you, I will surely bless you with that. Prahlada says that I want my father Hiranyakashipu to be a good man. Now this was beyond impossible. You can say beyond imagination. But Vishnu does not tell the boy directly this. So now Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, they were all such people that even though you wish, God himself also, even if he comes down, still they cannot be changed. That is the reason you have so many avatars, like Rama avatara. At the end, Rama had to kill Ravana. Even though he tried to change Ravana, transform Ravana into a good man, Ravana did not change. I'll give you a simple example for this. We have something called willpower, right? Or we say free will. What is that? Or the will to do things. The Lord will bless us with 10 things. But if you don't have a personal will from inside, you don't have an interest from inside to learn something or to do something, it will never happen. God also cannot help there. That is the reason, that's the reason we say that do not believe in destiny mere. No, everything, some people have this habit, right? No, everything is just destiny. This is what happens. Destiny is only 50%. Remaining 50% is your efforts. If you put in efforts, if you have the right will, destiny will change for you. So, coming back to this point, this was again true in the case of Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, all the Asuras also. So when Prahlada asked that my father Hiranyakashipu should become a good man, should become a great devotee of you, he should start doing good things, he should change from an Asura, he should change his nature and so on. Vishnu was puzzled, or you can say Vishnu was in confusion. He did not know what to do. He could not refuse Prahlada because he had told him, whatever you ask I will give you. And on top of that, changing Hiranyakashipu was not possible at all. So he keeps thinking, he keeps wondering what to do. And he tells that, don't worry, your wish will be fulfilled. This reference is there again in the Vishnu Purana. It seems that the Lord himself took an incarnation as Hiranyakashipu, as a good man. So, this original Hiranyakashipu, Asura, he was doing his evil acts. It seems that to please Prahlada for a short while, Vishnu himself assumed the form of a good Hiranyakashipu in order to make the words of Prahlada true, in order to fulfill the wishes of Prahlada, saying that my father Hiranyakashipu should be a good man. Seems that Lord himself assumed the form of Hiranyakashipu, whose character was very good. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and he was a fatherly figure to Prahlada. So this wish was fulfilled. So through this instance or through this story, what we get to know is compassion or karuna. For the sake of his devotees, the Lord will go to any extent, will do anything. Here, even when people like Hiranyakashipu, Asuras cannot be changed, the Lord himself assumed the form of an Asura, right? Now, if you take our own example, if someone amongst us tells us to assume a negative form, or maybe tells us that to do something which we cannot do, like almost impossible things, to a certain, now all of us, we all have a helping nature, right? We are all very helpful, we like to help people and so on. But beyond a certain level, beyond a certain limit, we cannot help, right? Say for example, if I have got 10,000 rupees, maybe I can give people maximum 5,000. I'll not give, okay, I have only 10,000, I donate all that 10,000 and I am on roads now. No one does that. At least a normal human being does not do this. If I have 10,000, 1,000, 2,000 I can give. 5,000 is also, you can say, the last limit. So here, even, it's not that I don't feel like helping others, but still my own self-thought also comes in, right? How will I survive? First, we always think about ourselves. So, but in the case of God, it seems that he goes to any extent. In fact, he assumed the form of a demon, of an Asura Hiranyakashipu, in order to please his devotee Prahlada. This shows the karuna. So, one whose karuna or one whose compassion cannot be measured at all, such a form of the Lord is called Ameyatma. So not only the physical form of the Lord, even the karuna or the qualities that the Lord has, we cannot measure that, or that is beyond words, that is beyond measurement. Through the story of Prahlada, this is very much evident. So if we have the right bhakti, if we have the right motive like Prahlada, surely the Lord will go to any extent in order to bless his devotees and ensure that all his bhaktas are happy. So that is the reason it is said that you take one step, the Lord will ensure that he takes 10 steps towards you. The problem is we don't take that one step only. You just do a little and there itself we have got a lot of problems. We sit and keep complaining. That should not be the case. Full will, if you do, Lord will also surely pave a way. But that will is very much necessary. The first step is very much necessary. Most of us there itself we lack, no, I don't want to do anything. Now this should not be limited again to religion or spirituality alone. It's not just for bhakti. For anything that we do in life, if we don't have that interest, like, okay, let me do this. Though things might seem to be difficult initially, but still, if we don't put in efforts, it is going to be of no use. If you put in efforts, the Lord also surely comes and helps us, right? Lord, now it need not be online. Now in the case of Prahlada, Vishnu himself comes there. In the case of all of us, maybe Vishnu himself, we cannot see the physical form of Lord Vishnu, but there are so many people around. We say like God, he came to guide me. What is the meaning of this? At the right time, the right person comes to give us the right amount of guidance. Or we just come across random people in life, right? So at that time, and just by meeting a person or so, we feel that I am blessed, that you came into my life and today my life has changed, or today my life is very, very happy, right? Or like say for example, I should be thankful to all of you, saying that all of you have come into my life. Because of that, because of all of you, I myself have this inspiration to study the Vishnu Sahasranama, and though I tell you the meanings, if you are not there, I will also not do that. So in all these steps, so how when a person meets, we never know. You consider the case of all of us only. Maybe about 2-3 years back, none of us, we didn't even know each other. But how the universe paved a way, how the Lord paved a way that we meet the right people. And today now, maybe one of you also, you don't come to any class, immediately I feel, oh, this person did not come today. Where is he? What to do? And so on, right? We have hardly a few people we have met in person. But we feel that happiness that is there, oh, this person is there. None of us we met in person, none of us we have ever seen, we don't know about each other. But maybe in a span of 1-2 years, or it can be a few months, or depending on different people, it is different. But we feel happy, right? We feel, or at least I feel happy. All of you also would be experiencing the same. And like we feel that, okay, something good is happening in life, and we are learning something new, we are going through a nice phase. And it's not only between you and me alone, all the other people also you come in. Right now, say for example, there are about 20 people. You look at these 20 people, every Saturday you meet them. One day one person doesn't come, we feel, right? Now those who notice, whoever comes, you feel, oh, this person always comes, he always asks something. For a few classes he is not there. We feel that, right? Or maybe you have some chanting class or so. One person is not being called out for a few days, but that person is very regular. Immediately we feel, or maybe we don't go and ask the person, we don't know that person. Still the thought comes, why this person is not there, right? So this itself shows that meeting the right people at the right time itself is a blessing that is there. And when you think deep on that, we don't know how to thank people when they come in our life. How they come, how when a person comes, we never know. And that's the reason it is said that whatever happens in life and whoever comes in our life, there is a reason for that. It's not just that random people just come and go. In fact, Ame Atma, this verse itself says that the Karuna of the Lord is of no limit, has got no limit. Similarly, in the case of Karuna, it can be for the Lord only. Prahlada was blessed that he had Lord Vishnu only. In the case of all of us, it's not always needed that the Lord himself should come in his physical form. Through different people also he can come in. So therefore, looking at others, looking at other human beings, at people who come in our life with this quality, saying that the Lord himself has sent this person to bring about a good change in life, this itself shows how we must look at things, and we must feel blessed that we are always associated with good people. Satsangam. This can be even the other way around. Negative people also can come in, right? That's the reason we have now, say for example, roughly let us consider 50, if your age is 50, there will be so many people you meet across, right? Now maybe you would have met about 10,000 people till date, but hardly out of that, maybe, I'm not talking about your relatives and everyone, random people who come in, maybe 10 or 15 people you remember, right? Most of us, we go on train journeys, right? So many train journeys we go. We meet a few people during the train journey, we are very much close to each other. Later you forget, then you move about, right? But still, a few people in life whom we meet randomly, we will always remember their face. Maybe something they would have done, or maybe they would have not done anything, but just you just remember, right? So why a person comes to our life and how he comes, there is surely a reason for that. But if we are blessed enough, if we are fortunate enough, the person who comes will change our life in a good way and will always make us happy. and will try to pull us out in our low times. So this is the meaning of Ameyatma, meaning if you have the right amount of devotion, the Lord himself shows a way, and his karuna has got no limit at all, just as he showed his karuna and compassion to Prahlada. So the nama to be chanted here is Ameyatmaya Namaha, meaning, sorry, Ameyatmane Namaha, Ameyatmane Namaha. If this word is chanted, saying that there is no level or the amount of karuna or compassion that the Lord will shower on all of us will have no meaning at all, will have no limit at all. Okay, let's continue. Next nama. Sarvayoga Vinisrataha. Sarva Sambandha Vinirgataha, Sarvayoga Vinisrataha. One who is free from all kinds of relations or connections. For this, we have to go a little to the eastern side. Eastern side is Orissa. Now in Orissa, if you see, we have the famous Jagannath Yatra that took place 1-2 days back. There you have a lot of devotees, like, anyone knows the famous devotee from Orissa side? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Everyone has heard this name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes.
Correct. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those who are believers and followers of ISKCON, you will have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his image and so on. In fact, the main inspiration behind ISKCON is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So mainly he...
Bengal?
Sorry?
I thought he's from Bengal.
Bengal, Orissa, that's it. Eastern part.
Actually, it's the eastern part.
Eastern part. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mainly it has got a lot of reference with the Jagannath temple there, because it seems that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, eastern part. Now mainly in Bengal, if you go, now Bengalis usually, they are worshippers of goddess Durga. So that is the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a Krishna devotee or a Vishnu devotee rather, the eastern part, his main influence can be seen in the eastern. So a story from his life. So once it so happened that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited Tamil Nadu, he visited Lord Ranganatha in Srirangam, he visited the Srirangam temple. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though we know him for just singing, dancing, singing the names of the Lord, dancing in his glories, he was a great scholar also. It's not that he limited his knowledge to bhakti alone. So even even now if you see the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he'll always be dancing with his hands in the sky. So everyone feels that he just knows to chant a few names of the Lord and that's it. Not at all. He was a great devotee, he was a great scholar, he had a lot of knowledge. And on all these stories that we are seeing, it is from Bhagavad Guna Darpanam, written by Parashara Bhatta, the commentary of Parashara Bhatta. It seems that he had studied that. And so we have to always be thankful to Parashara Bhatta. If not for him, we would have never gone through all these stories. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had studied all this and his curiosity increased. He went to the temple of Ranganatha, Srirangam, in order to worship Ranganatha, Lord Vishnu. So once he goes there, there is another person there. His name was Srirangadasa. Srirangadasa, that was his name. So both are the Srirangadasa, he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the temple of Srirangam. And in Srirangam only there was another temple of Lord Jagannatha, quite similar to the Jagannath Puri temple in Odisha. So in Srirangam only, I don't know if it is there till date because I have not visited that place yet, but earlier times, in the times of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was very much there. So there was a Jagannath temple nearby, and the Srirangadasa, who was a local native of this place, he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that let us go to this Jagannatha temple also. After worshipping Ranganatha in Srirangam, let's go to the nearby Jagannatha temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. He said, yes, let us go. So now there in that temple, in the Jagannath temple, there was a priest. The name of the priest was Himanshu. If you look at these names only, you can make out that they don't belong to South India. They have migrated from places. So many you can consider from the eastern side only. Now this migration that takes place, you have to make a note of this. It is not that just because a temple is in South India, it will have only South Indian priests, or a temple is in North India, it will have North Indian priests. Though the majority will be like that, still there are some differences. That is the reason in Badrikashrama, even today, you have the Nambudris from Kerala who go and worship the Lord. They are not natives of North India, but still they go there. Right? So like this, there are certain places now, even today, if you see, like at least in Mumbai, I can make about what I have seen. There are many temples who belong to South Indian communities, but the priests who do the puja and everything there, they are North Indians, right? So note this, that this tradition that is being seen, just because a temple is located in a certain part of India doesn't mean that the priests will also be native to that place. There will be a few differences, and this is not seen only today, it is for many years together. So though the majority will belong to that place only, but still there are a few differences to this. So this, though the temple was in Srirangam, the priest here, he belonged to North India and he used to worship this Jagannath. Now the priest, his name was Himanshu, I told you. So he used to worship, but he was the one who had a lot of bhakti to the Lord Jagannatha. He had a lot of bhakti, but he did not know much. That is ways of worship or doing different puja procedures, chanting a lot of stotram, shlokams, having a lot of knowledge. He did not have knowledge about all that. He did not know much. He just knew the simple way of bhakti, maybe to sing the names of the Lord, offer whatever he had, just light the lamp twice a day, that's it. And then he used to go about. So the Srirangadasa, he felt that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a great person who is coming, and this priest, he is just doing some normal worship and he does not have proper knowledge also, so this doesn't seem good. So Srirangadasa, but he kept quiet. He said, now I don't have an option, I cannot tell him anything, he doesn't know, so what he will do. So there this priest Himanshu, he was doing Archana, he was chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama, he was doing Archana. The first Nama, Vishwam, the Nama should be Vishwaya Namaha. Vishwasmai Namaha is the right Nama. Some references Vishwaya Namaha. Parashara Bhatta only in his commentary writes Vishwaya Namaha. So both you can consider. Second is Vishnu, Vishwam Vishnu. The correct word should be Vishnavaya Namaha. This priest ended up chanting Vishnavaya Namaha. How it was Vishvaya, Vishnaya, Shatkaraya, Aya. He seemed that everything is rhyming, he kept on chanting. He did not have any Sanskrit knowledge, he did not have the knowledge of vibhaktis, he did not know how to chant properly. He kept on chanting Vishnavaya Namaha. Srirangadasa lost his temper now. He said, such a great person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has come. In front of him you are chanting all this. At least alone, whatever you want, you do. You are chanting everything wrong. What is this? He goes and he shouts at Himanshu. The priest was scared. He said, I don't know. So it became a mistake on my part. But so Srirangadasa said, you are the priest, you cannot do such mistakes, so you have to improve on this, that. He started talking. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seeing all this. He kept quiet for some time, and then he goes there and he tells Srirangadasa that there is a shloka for this. Murkho vadati Vishnaya, Buddho vadati Vishnave, Ubhayostu phalam tulyam, Bhavagrahi Janardanaha. This is a verse that is being told based on this story. Meaning, Murkho vadati Vishnaya. Murkho is basically fools or people who don't have proper knowledge. They will chant Vishnaya. Buddho vadati Vishnave. Buddho is intelligent people or scholars, Panditaha. They will chant Vishnave because they know the right rules of grammar. Ubhayostu phalam tulyam. Ubhayo. For both of them, the phalam, the fruits will be the same. The Lord will bless both of them, it seems. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Janardana accepts both. Now, what is the meaning of this? Does this mean that even if we chant wrong also the Lord accepts? At this point, what we have to notice is this person did not have the right knowledge, but that did not stop him from doing bhakti. He was doing bhakti from the bottom of his heart, and the Lord accepts bhakti, not anything else. Now, a disclaimer, this doesn't mean that we end up doing things wrong or we end up doing things without gaining knowledge. We must have knowledge. But then, now maybe in the case of this Himanshu priest, there was no one to teach him properly. Or even today, if you go to North India, you see, now I'll tell you a difference between North India and South India. It is not to show that one is high and another is low, but the traditional practices are different. You go to North India, you see, maybe you go to Gujarat or places like that, or Dwarka, if you go, you can see, or Mathura, Vrindavana, you have the famous Vrindavana Holi, right? The people there, whenever the Aarti time or anything takes place, they are just jumping, swaying, dancing, enjoy, singing the names of the Lord and celebrating, right? They'll put their hands up, they'll start dancing, they'll start jumping and so on. That's their way of showing bhakti, that's their way of expressing bhakti. Bhakti is 100% there. That is the reason why Gurjara Deshe Bhakti. Bhakti, a devotion that we say, she is goddess herself. She was a lady, she was a girl who was born in Gujarat. Later she came to Maharashtra. Ultimately she is now gone to Tamil Nadu, it seems, from Gujarat. But she was born very much in Gujarat. So this is a tradition that we see in North India. Now this reference comes in the Padma Puranam that talks about the Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam. I think few of us, we had learned this together, where Bhakti was born and so on, what happened for the story. So now coming back, South India, what happened is that people had a lot of knowledge. They used to know what kind of bhakti, what kind of puja, everything had to be done. That's the reason even till date, if you see, you go to South India, the temples and everything, the procedures will be very big, right? The only this Naivedyam has to be offered. At this time, the temple will close. At this time, the temple will open. You have the first arti, or the this arti, that arti, everything we have to know. And even today, you see people belonging to South India, you have a particular practice to do the pujas, puja vidhis and so. But what happens is, people belonging to South India, you go to any South Indian temple, you can never see people dancing or singing in joy when the arti takes place, right? Everyone will be standing, maybe maximum you clap your hands. Beyond that, people will be very hesitant to lift their hands. What if my bag is stolen, right? Or maybe, I don't believe in doing all this kind of bhakti. I'll do whatever procedure has been mentioned in the scriptures. I will follow all that and do everything in the right way. Now, which is correct? Is the North Indian style of bhakti correct, or is the South Indian style of bhakti correct? What do you feel, all of you? Both. Why
Both
both?
are right.
Both are right. Why both?
Yeah, both are correct.
Both are correct. Why both? If both are correct, then entire India should practice the same, right? Why is there a difference in North India and South India? Like even today we see this, right? Those who, now people, I think most of you, at least one temple in South India and one temple in North India, you would have surely visited in all your life. So you would have seen the difference, right? Or even the way people speak, people live about, there is a difference, right?
No, but our inherent nature is to be happy. So people would like to dance and show their happiness.
Correct. So Sundari ji says that ultimately you have to be happy. So your way of expression can be anything. Correct. What else?
I think there should be a balance, because somewhere bhakti should also be a self-improvement kind of a thing. So the South Indian practice helps you control your indriyas. All that is
Correct.
also there. So there should be a balance.
So along with bhakti, there should also be knowledge in the right way, not just simple bhakti. So Madhulika ji says that there should be a balance of both. Correct. Now, both ways are correct, right? We doing things in the right way is very much important, but at the same time having bhakti is also important. If both things are important, then why was this concept introduced that in North India it is a different way and in South India it's a different way? Now maybe people like us, we are not influenced much by that. We follow both, right? Now maybe a few amongst us, we feel that okay, I don't want to dance and sing maybe in public. I'm a bit shy. By nature I'm a bit shy. I'll stand in the side. That doesn't mean I don't have bhakti. If I'm not dancing in public or I'm not singing aloud in public, doesn't mean I don't have bhakti. That is my nature. And even while doing the puja procedures and everything, to my level I can do. To some extent I can do. I cannot do 4 hours you do, or this is how it has to be done. Early morning you get up, you do this vrata, do that vrata. To some extent whatever I can. So most of us, we belong to this category, right? To mediocre category. Yatha Shakti, we say. That's the reason why doing all the puja, sankalpa, we use this word Yatha Shakti. Means as per my own ability or capacity I can do. Then why this difference is there is a reason for this. Some people will say no, because of the local tradition. There will be some point of origin, right? Why this started. Purposely it was started. The reason being that to tell and to give an idea to the world that whichever part of the world you are, now they have considered only India. You go to outside also, the ways they have all taken from India. You go outside India also, you see people are practicing bhakti and so on. The point is, you are in any part of the world, the ways can be different. To showcase different methods. Some people will not be comfortable following all the procedures that are there, right? This is there, that is there, this prata has to be followed, at this time this Naivedyam has to be offered, this mantra has to be chanted. Not everyone will be able to do this. This became popular in South India because if you see even till date, we see that people in South India they believe in a lot of getting education, right? And this is not limited only to today, for many years together. Kerala 100% literacy, this, that, everything we boast. How far they're actually literate, that we don't know. That's one part of the story. So basically if you see people in the South Indian regions, that is below the Sahyadri, that is you can say below Maharashtra, starting from Karnataka till Kerala if you consider, usually people, they are quite educated in the sense they know what they are doing, what they are speaking is also quite clear. Whereas you go to North India, I'm not saying the North Indians are not educated, but then to some level extent, sometimes when you go to North India, the most common language is Hindi, right? but even though the way they speak, only some people's speech is clear, right? Now, if there are some North Indians, you don't beat me for this. What I'm trying to say is, you come to that point later. The way they speak sometimes is not at all clear. The Hindi also, it will be Hindi. Now, most of us, we are familiar with Hindi, but the Hindi that they speak is little different, or not everyone can make out. And in North India, if you see, they will not be like, they'll not have 10 degrees under their name, or they'll not be very much educated, but they'll be very successful in life. To take the best example of Gujarat, all the, you can say, the big giants today in the business world are all people from Gujarat, starting from Ambani and so on, right? So, this is the difference that we see. This is not limited to religion or spirituality alone. Both are well. So, ultimately, the goal is you have to be successful in life. South Indians, they believe that, okay, you be educated, you do this, you do that. People are pestering for you for that. Therefore, you can achieve that. That is their way of belief. You find a job, you be settled. North Indians feel that, of course, today's times it is being changing. I'm telling you the tradition that was there before. North Indians, they feel, yes, we'll get some education to some basic level, but what we want to do is we want to be successful. We want to actually do things practically. We just don't want to run behind degrees. This is our view. Again, coming back to religion also. So this is a reason why when people were more educated, they came to know more. They felt that no, bookish knowledge is very much needed. That is the reason you see in South India, they started following all these practices. They started opening books and so on, opening the books in the scriptures, what is mentioned. North Indians also, they do as per the scriptures only, but they felt that more than reading something and more than let us not waste time in finding out what is it. Oh, should I do this, should I do that? Because we are wasting a lot of time in confusion. Instead of that, let us show bhakti in whatever way we want, because that is the easiest way of reaching God, as told by Krishna also in the Gita chapter 12. So that is the reason how bhakti started getting popular in North India, and that's the reason why all these scriptural practices or going behind books, procedures and so on started getting popular in South India. Now there can be a mixture of both. Today's times everything has changed. All of us, we can adapt to any way. But there is a reason for everything. I'm telling you why I'm giving you all this explanation is, there is a reason for everything that is happening. It's not random that, okay, in few parts bhakti is evolving, few parts there is no bhakti, they believe in a lot of procedures and so on. Because the lifestyle was like that, right? Now, even today in our own families also, if you see, maybe in this generation or your generation, you need not consider. 2-3 generations back, you can see this difference. Usually North Indians, if you see, they all belong to that business family much. Or they'll be into some of the other work that they do. They'll be associated with a company also, but then usually it will be some services that they provide, and for family traditions together, they'll be doing the same thing. So North India, if you go, mostly everything will be like what the father is doing, grandfather is doing. It will be like a continuation. It will be the same occupation. Whereas in South India, usually it is not like that. We don't have the concept of business at all, right? Now, of course, today many people are doing everything. It's a mix match everywhere you live in any part of the world. But they will usually like, my father is so and so, my father is an engineer, so I will become a doctor. Or something like that. You find out something, you be a job in some bank or a private sector or something. That's it. At the age of 60, you retire, you continue. This is what is usually seen. So, through this, why there is so much of diversity? We say India's unity in diversity, all such words we use. Again, for bhakti and devotion also, it was the same thing. So, why both these practices were being told is, whichever method you want, you can follow. You want to show bhakti like the people do in North India, you can do that. You want to follow all the practices that have been told in our scriptures and books, you can follow that. Anything you do, there should be bhakti, trust and faith that is there. Simply merely, and at the same time there should be a balance of both. Without knowing anything, simply dancing and jumping and singing, people will call you mad, right? And at the same time, going behind bookish knowledge, just as Bhattatri also says in the Narayanyam, Tarkam, asking questions, why this is so, why that is so. There are few questions in this world which are still not answered. Asking questions is not wrong, but questioning without knowing anything is surely wrong. Krishna tells in the Gita also, Pariprashnena sevaya. You ask me questions, I am not answerable to you, but asking questions is absolutely fine, he tells Arjuna. But from your side, little research you must do and ask. Randomly, someone tells something, you come and ask me something, I am not answerable to you, right? So therefore, whenever we have such questions that is there, so again in South India also, when you follow the scriptures and so on, merely asking questions, why this has to be done, why that has to be done, if I don't follow this, will the God come and poke my eye, or will I incur some sin and so on. Going too much behind all this will make us devoid of bhakti. So there should be a proper balance of both. So coming back to this Nama, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sri Rangadasa, he gives him all this explanation and tells that Himanshu, this priest, even though he does not know the right vibhakti, he does not know the right chants, maybe he is chanting in a wrong way, the Lord will consider this also as bhakti and will bless him. Ubhayostut phalam tulyam, for both of them the result will be same. Again I repeat, this doesn't mean that we do things in the wrong way. If we get a chance to learn things in the right way, we must surely do that. But in the case of this priest Himanshu, he never got an opportunity, he had never learned things the right way, therefore he did not know the meaning properly, but still that did not stop him from doing bhakti. Again a life lesson for all of us. We must not always sit and come, no, I have never got the opportunity to do things, I don't know to do things. We must never cry and crib for anything. Nobody is going to come and put inside उद्यमेन हि सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथैः न हि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे मृगाः. As the Subhashita goes, nobody is going to, just by sitting and dreaming, I want to do this, I want to do that, nothing will happen. A deer does not enter the mouth of a sleeping lion. The lion has to get up, put in efforts to hunt the deer, then only it can fill its stomach. Similarly, all of us also, if you want to achieve something, you have to put in some efforts. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells the Sri Rangadasa that at least this priest Himanshu is putting some efforts to show his bhakti, that the Lord will surely consider. Sarva yoga vinisritaha literally means that he doesn't consider what you do, which method you follow, or how you do doesn't matter. But what amount of bhakti and shraddha you do, that is the only thing that the Lord considers and blesses all his devotees. So Sarva yoga vinisritaya namaha. Whichever way you do, even though you commit mistakes without knowing, that is unknowingly, if you commit mistakes, on purpose you do, then that is wrong. But unknowingly if you commit mistakes, the Lord will consider even that also as bhakti, because what the Lord sees is only and only bhakti, shraddha on the Lord and nothing else. Okay, did everyone understand this Nama? Sarva yoga vinisrataya namaha. Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Lakshmi.
Okay. Next. Next, with this verse is done. Next verse. Verse number 12. Vasurvasumana satya samatma sammitas samaha amogha pundarikaksho vrishakarma vrishakriti. Vasuhu vasanti sarvabhutani atra teshu ayamapi vasatiti va vasuhu. One in whom all the living beings they reside. Vasuna pavakaschasmi. Krishna tells in the Gita, among the Vasus, Ashta Vasus we have, amongst that I am Agni. Ashta Vasu name is given Apa, Dhruva, Soma, Dhava, Anila, Anala, Pratyusha, Prabhasa. Now, for this now there is a story. What is that? There was a person. Now this story goes down to Tamil literature or Sangam literature. The name of the person was Namperuvan. Namperuvan Avar. People used to come as Avar. Alvar is given in some references. He was actually not an Alvar as such. Whatever I have studied, it should be Avar. So Namperuvan was the name of this person. And now if you see in Vaishnavism, he was a Vaishnavite. So in Vaishnavism we have the Shaligrama Puja, right? So he used to have that Shaligrama in his along with him always. Now we must never call the Shaligrama as a stone, though it looks like a stone, like a Shivalinga, it's not actually a stone. Shivalinga we don't call a stone, right? Similarly, Shaligrama also should never be called a stone. It is considered to be a form of Lord Vishnu. So this devotee, this person, he had this Shaligrama stone with him, and he also had a Tambula box. Tambula boxes, people have this habit of eating betel nuts, right? Betel nuts, betel leaf and everything. So like this, now if you see mostly your grandfathers, great grandfathers used to have this habit, maybe few amongst you will also have. After every meal or so, they have this habit of eating that, what do you call that, areca nut, right? Supari, what is that called? Areca nut. What do you call that? What
Yes, yes.
Areca nut, right? Okay, I hope everyone understood what I mean to say.
Areca nut.
Areca nut, correct. So betel leaves, areca nut. So this person used to have a specific box for that. And in that box only he had kept this shaligram. He didn't have much place in his house and so on. More than having the place, he did not know anything. And he had become very old, so his eyesight was also very poor. So he had kept the shaligrama stone also in that box only, and along with that there was that areca nut also nearby. Now this person had this habit of chewing the areca nut after every meal and so. And it used to happen that later when he had lost his eyesight, by mistake at times, instead of the areca nut, he used to put the shaligrama inside his mouth, this person. And now shaligrama, and after putting into the mouth, he could realize that, oh, this is not the areca nut, it is something else, I am not able to bite it, and then again he used to keep it down. Again he used to keep it inside that box only. So means he did not know this. It's not that he was doing things on purpose, but that was only his amount of knowledge. So so he used to live in a very small village also. He did not know anything much. So this person in that village, he was seeing this and he felt like, now it is like if someone amongst us also, we have a shaligrama and you put it inside your mouth or something. So it is so bad, right? And we don't like all this. So the person in that village, he felt very bad and he said, okay, maybe this person is an old man, he cannot see properly, his eyesight is also poor, so maybe that is the reason why he is doing this. And again he is keeping it inside that box only, so that next time also the same thing will happen. So he goes there and he tells this person that now you have become very old. He does not tell him directly that you are putting it inside your mouth, but the person should not feel bad, right? So he just tells that now you have become very old. I will do one thing, I'll take the shaligrama with me, I'll do the proper puja and everything, I'll call priests and in the right way I'll do the puja, don't worry on that. So this person also feels, yes, I'm old anyway, I'm not able to do any puja or something to the shaligrama, so I'll give it to this person, let him do the worship and everything in the right way. So the person agrees and he takes that shaligrama. Now he was also a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. He calls priests and in a very grand manner, in a very nice way, he does the shaligrama puja at his house. He calls many people, Abhisheka, Archana, this, that, everything, lots of learned priests and so on. Everything was done in the right way, and entire day he spends doing the puja properly. He keeps it in his house. And on that night, when all this puja and everything had taken place, on that day, same night, Lord Vishnu comes to this person's dream who had taken this shaligrama and tells that, asks him, why did you bring me from the Nampiravan's house, Nampiravan Awad's house, why did you bring me back? I was very much happy there. So this now all this is the dream of this person who brings the shaligrama. He says, what is this? He was eating you almost, he was putting you inside his mouth, and then every time he was keeping it back, so it is so impure, ashaucham. So that is the reason you should be worshipped properly, right? So therefore I felt that I will bring your form here and I will do the right way of worship. Lord Vishnu there, he says that I never felt that I was being chewed or by him or I was being put inside the mouth. In fact, he was actually doing me abhisheka with his inside his mouth, because his mouth is so pure. By chanting Tiruvanmozhi, Tirupugal and so on, all Sangam literature references, he used to continuously keep chanting my names. Even though his eyesight was poor, his bhakti had not reduced at all. So therefore I was very much happy. I felt that through his saliva being inside his mouth, as if abhisheka is being done to me. So listening to this, suddenly the dream breaks and this person rises up. He's shocked that, okay, what I did is actually wrong, what I'll do this. He goes back and he gives this shaligrama to this person only, Nampiravan, and says that you only do the worship, whatever you want you do, I don't want this. Now through this story, again, just like the previous one we saw, Sarva Yoga Vinisritaya, what the Lord sees in the person is a bhakti, and all these are doshas, right? We should not put the Lord or something inside our mouth. He was not doing it purposely, but then he could not see properly, but every time he used to put it in the same box, knowing that by mistake it can come. But ignorance, or you can say he did not have that knowledge, it did not stuck him that, okay, I'll keep it in some other place, so that next time when I eat that areca nut, instead of the nut, this shaligrama will not come. So such was his ignorance. He did not know that. It's not that he was doing it on purpose. So through this story, what we understand is that even though we have about 1,000 doshas, if we have the right attitude, if we have the right bhakti, all those doshas also will be converted into gunas. Now again, this doesn't mean that we must do such things or we must do practices which are against bhakti. For this you can consider the best example of Shabri. Shabri from the Ramayana reference, right? So Shabri also, she consumed fruits and so on, we say. So the way of interpretation should be that she had tasted the fruits from the tree, she felt that okay, these fruits are quite sweet, and that's the reason how she offers. But the way of interpretation, this is how it is mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. The way of interpretation that is most common is she has tasted the fruit, same fruits from her mouth she gives for Rama, and the Lord accepts it. So this is mainly to show bhakti that is there, that under the name of bhakti the Lord accepts anything that we do. So through these stories what we have to mainly understand is that to do bhakti, even if small mistakes happen here and there, if you feel bad for it, if you ask for forgiveness, surely the Lord accepts that, because for the Lord what is most important is bhakti, and not the way you do, not the way you do in a very large scale, grand scale, you do pujas and so on. That is not important, or that is not needed. If you don't know, at least this person, because he was not much learned, he was very much ignorant, he did not know what he was doing was wrong, his eyesight was poor, but still that did not stop him from doing bhakti. Continuously he used to keep chanting the names of the Lord, and he also had this concept of keeping the shaligrama at his house. So respecting this attitude of this person, the Lord decided to bless him. Through these namas, mainly these namas, now they are talking about the bhakti, that is the importance of bhakti, or you have a bhakti cult, right? Bhakti movement in history also. So all these stories mainly glorify about bhakti. Again, don't assume and come to the point that under the name of bhakti we can do anything. That is not right. People like us, we are all aware, we know what are the right practices and so on. So knowingly we must not do anything wrong, but unknowingly, there are people unknowingly also, or sometimes we don't get an opportunity, we don't get the right guidance. So then what to do? At that time, unknowingly, if you do some mistakes here and there, the Lord has got so much of karuna and compassion that He will accept even that. So this is what is being told. Okay, let everyone understand this nama. So here also if we chant Vasave Namaha, the Lord will always bless us, even though we are ignorant, even though we do not know about a few things. Still the Lord will ensure that we are always on the right path. He will guide us to be on the right path. Okay, did everyone understand this nama? Yes. So here the first meaning has to be considered, meaning one who resides in all of us. So when the amount of bhakti that we show, that itself shows that He is the one who is actually there inside all of us. He is residing in all of us. Next. Vasumanaha. It's a big definition if you see. वसुशब्देन धनवाचिना प्राशस्त्यं लक्ष्यते प्रशस्तं मनो यस्य सः वसुमनाः रागद्वेषादिभिः क्लेशैः मदादिभिः उपक्लेशैश्च यतो न कलुषितं चित्तं ततस्तन्मनः प्रशस्तं. Meaning, Vasu means wealth. And you can say like excellent qualities. Vasumanaha, that mind which has got excellent qualities. Or wealth here need not be considered in terms of money, meaning richness. How is a man known rich? By the qualities that he has, right? Wealth is one part. But if you are having evil qualities, or if you are showing, you can say, hatred and other things towards people, where is your richness? You are not at all wealthy. So having the good, right qualities is very much important. That makes a person truly wealthy, truly rich. Vasumanaha. Now, for this we have to go to the Krishna Leela stories. Now this was the time wherein Krishna was there in Dwaraka. So at that time, as we know, Krishna had married about 16,108 wives. So Narada once decided that this Krishna has married so many people, but how come, and he is also the king of Dwaraka, how come he devotes time for everyone? One wife only people cannot take out time, and there only we see so many problems taking place. And this person is having 16,108 wives, he is also the king, and people praise about saying that he looks after the administration duties also very well, he cares for all his wives equally. How come? So he decides to go to Dwaraka. He says, no, I want to witness this actually. So basically he wanted to test, more than testing Krishna, he wanted to see actually what Krishna does, how he manages everything. So Krishna goes to Dwaraka, and Narada goes to Dwaraka, and he meets Krishna, and directly he asks Krishna, saying that you have so many wives, you are also the king of this place, how do you manage everything? Like maybe you have some shortfalls, right? You will maybe to one wife here you have some time, then by the time you go to the another wife, the third one will call you, and so how do you manage all this? And at the same time you are also the king. So all the subjects, all the people also will be approaching you with their problems. you have to take care of the kingdom also. So I feel that you are not able to do everything rightly. Krishna does not give any answer. Krishna says you can see for yourself. Now Narada had got a boon that he can assume about 80 forms, 80, roughly 80 figure you can consider at the same time. That is 80 different Naradas can take place. Now say for example all of us we have only one form. But what if we are blessed having 5 forms? One can be in Chennai, one can be in Mumbai, one can be in Bangalore, one can be in Delhi and so on, right? Same person having 5 forms. It's not like that. But Narada had been blessed with this, but he was limited to only 80. So what he does is, he goes now, for all the queens, Krishna had built different chambers, different palaces in Dwaraka. He goes to the first queen's palace, and there he sees Krishna sitting with his first wife. Again, the second form of Narada goes inside the second palace, he sees again a Krishna there. Like that 16,108 Krishnas can be seen. Now he says, okay, with his wife, how come so many forms are there? Then he goes to the kingdom. There Krishna is nicely sitting as a king and managing all his royal duties there. So now Narada is surprised. Now here you must note one thing, that when Krishna had married so many queens, it is not just that to enjoy the pleasures of life, he was spending time with all those queens. In the Rama Avatara, there were many sages who were waiting to spend time with Rama during the Vanavasa time, but Vanavasa, the period was limited. So Rama could not do that. That is the reason why in the next avatar as Krishna, all those rishis were born as Gopikas and different these queens. And that's how Krishna had to spend time with all of them. At the same time, even the Narakasura incident that we have. So from Narakasura, all these girls were saved. They were all princesses from different kingdoms. And once they were under the captive of Narakasura, again they could not go back. So who will take care of them? Who will keep them? That is the reason why again Krishna took care of all those devotees, all those gopis, all those ladies. And how to take care is just a system of marriage. Without marriage, he could not take care. He could not randomly keep someone. That's the reason why even Dasharatha, though he had 3 chief queens, in all he had 350 queens. In the Balakanda Ramayana, when Dasharatha dies, all those queens stand in one line and wail. You imagine the wailing of 350 ladies when Dasharatha passed away. Now it was a tradition then of many marriages, one, and at the same time monogamy, this practice that was there. And at the same time, you also had this practice that whenever a kingdom was defeated, whenever another kingdom or so was defeated, that land's daughter or that land's princess or the entire wealth of that land used to be given to this person. So basically marriage, when we say that Dasharatha had 350 queens or Krishna had so many queens, doesn't mean that he enjoyed the pleasures of life with everyone. In the case of Krishna, he had only Ashtamahishis, Rukmani, Bhama, Jambavati, Lakshmana and so on. In the case of Dasharatha, only 3 chief queens, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi. You see the will of Dasharatha, even having so many queens and 3 chief primary queens also, he could not beget children. Ultimately, he had to do the Putrakameshti Yajna, and that's how Rama was born. So he did not go the family way, and it's not just to enjoy the pleasures that he had so many queens. But even in the case of Krishna also, it was just like a protection. In those times, again, the kings, when they were defeated, they had to give up everything because they had to go to sannyasa ashrama. Again, it's not that they used to give their daughters just away to someone, no, because when someone was defeated, they had to go to the forest. They followed vanaprastha because they could not face the society, it seems, and that is the reason why they used to leave everything and go to the forest. So when they leave everything and go to the forest, their wives, everyone had to be given away, right? So someone has to take care of them. That's the reason the winner or the king was being victorious, he had to take over everything. So this is how Krishna also had these queens that were there. So that is the reason he had assumed many forms, because he had promised to all the sages in the Rama Avatara that I will spend time with all of you. To the Gopikas he had promised. From Narakasura he had saved all these girls. So that is the reason why Krishna had to take care of all these ladies. So now Narada knew the reason, and now Narada, he understands that I am such a fool that I was thinking that this Krishna or this Lord, how he manages everything, he's only one, he has got so many wives, he has to take care of the kingdom and so on. I am such a fool that I could not recognize this when I have got the boon. I, a mere devotee of the Lord, though I am a sage, I have got a mere boon that I can assume about 80 forms at the same time. who am I to question the form of the Lord, who can assume innumerable forms at one time? That's the reason why he had assumed 16,108 forms, and also one more form to be as a king of Dwaraka. So here Narada then finally he comes and falls at the feet of Krishna, and he says that I am very much wrong, that I came here to even question you. How come such a thought came to my mind, that how this Krishna will be managing everything? Is he being not responsible? Is he not doing things properly? I am so ignorant here. Narada comes, he falls at the feet of Krishna, and he asks for forgiveness. That this thought itself came to my mind, that itself is wrong. Krishna tells that this is not wrong at all, but Vasumanaha saying that this name is for the sake of the devotees, he will do anything to any extent. Till date, if you see people, including all of us, we keep poking fingers at Krishna, saying that who is this person who has got many wives? How come he married so many wives? How come he enjoyed life like this? And so on, right? Krishna knew that people are going to poke fingers at him, because people are going to be ignorant. Nobody, now out of 100 people, 10 people will go behind and see the reason. Now people like us, who know a bit, who have studied little bit, will not question like this. How come he married so many wives? Is it correct? Just to enjoy the material pleasures. Is the Lord also doing the same thing? Right? It is not like that, because we don't know the reason. People don't know the reason. Krishna knew that people are going to poke him later, but then for the word that he had given to all the sages in the Ramavatara, to ensure that all the girls from Narakasura are saved properly, they are given proper protection, he ended up marrying them without thinking what the society will think. And forget about, now for us, people like you and me do something, maybe for a few years people will keep poking us. So maybe after we die, for a few years they will speak. Or after a few days only, sometimes people forget, right? Now some fight takes place between us. For a few days there will be some enmity. Maximum we'll stop talking to each other. In the course of time we tend to forget. But in the case of Krishna, or even Rama for that matter, one thing they do wrong, years and years together, for yugas together, people are considering them wrong. Krishna was born in the Dwapara Yuga, it's Kali Yuga. Rama was there in the Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga is done, Kali Yuga is done. People are still thinking about some aspects which are wrong with Rama and Krishna. So, but Krishna and Rama, Krishna tells Narada, I don't bother what the society will think, what people in future will think, because people who have the right knowledge, they will know what I do. For the sake of my devotees, I will go and do any extent, go to any extent. That is the meaning of this nama, Vasumanaha. Vasumanaha meaning, for me the ultimate wealth is one who fulfills the wishes of his devotees. For the sake of the devotees, whatever I will do, that is Vasumanaha. Meaning I am known by my devotees, I am known for always blessing my devotees and fulfilling their wishes. So this is the meaning of Vasumana. Vasumanase Namaha. If we also chant this nama, Vasumanase Namaha, always the Lord also will be thinking about us, it seems. Even though we forget to think about the Lord will surely think about us. That is, maybe 2 or 3 days we'll forget to do our puja, but the Lord never forgets his devotees. On the 4th day, he gives you such a way that he will make you realize, for the last 3 days you have not chanted my names, come today and at least do that, I am waiting for you. The Lord makes a sankalpa like this. The Lord puts this thought inside. This is his amount of karuna, this is his amount of respect and love that he has towards his devotees. So through this nama, this is specified. Today time is up, we will stop here.